Hey everybody, welcome back to Vulgar Display of Gaming podcast. We're just restarting it up again. I'm Shane.
I'm Javi.
And today we want to talk about, is Marvel screwed? If you don't know what's going on, we're here to let you know, and here's our thoughts on all this weird shit going on. So,
what are we starting off first, Shane?
So we want to give you a little background story. If you do not know who Jonathan Majors is, he is currently playing Kang, the new big bad guy in Marvel. And right now he is dealing with a lot of stuff going on. He's more or less dealing with domestic violence going on. As of right now, London police are looking into physical assaults levied against Jonathan Majors amid his domestic violence case. The 34-year-old is facing criminal charges in New York after he was arrested for allegedly attacking his ex-girlfriend in March. The matter is being brought to trial November 29th, where he faces up to a year in jail if convicted. He is denying the accusations. We're not here to levy... We're not here to pick sides. We're just saying what's going on. And in today's day and age, even if you have accusations against you, you know...
It ruins opportunities.
That stigma sticks with you.
Yeah.
So that's what's going on right now in the world of Marvel. Just with him being set up as the new bad guy, Kang the Conqueror. And they're going to wrap him up in Loki right now. And he's already set to be the next major bad guy in the new Avengers movie and coming out in 2026.
Yeah, so he's basically going to fill in the role that, the previous act that Marvel had with their cinematic universe. He is supposed to be the bad guy that it brings up, an Avengers level threat. But because of this ongoing trial that's stopping Jonathan, right? Whether he's guilty or not, it's going to be up to Disney to decide, and Marvel to decide if they want to continue to use him or to go a different direction altogether. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
And that's not even half the things they're dealing with now.
No, that's just
that's just, as of right now, their major concern is that can derail the whole next phase of Marvel movies. Because if Jonathan Majors gets convicted, or if things continue to go down this path and they have to recast him like they did with Don Cheadle in Iron Man, they can, but
Mark Ruffalo as well for Hulk.
And yes, with the Hulk. But the thing is too, it's like you set him up and put him in the spotlight. His face is on everything. You made different versions of just him. So you made different versions of that character in the multiverse and everything. Now if you recast him, it'd be kind of strange, you know?
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. Anyway, but that's the big thing they're concerned about right now. And they're trying to figure out, all right, do we recast him or do we go with a new bad guy? Dr. Doom has been thrown around, especially since now they have the rights to Fantastic Four, and I hope they do make a good Fantastic Four movie.
How do you feel about, trying to do Dr. Doom for a third time?
Well, if they do Dr. Doom correctly, that'd be really cool. He is a cool villain. He's got his own island and everything, and just what he brings to the Marvel universe itself is just something different. But I can't see him being an Avenger level threat right off the bat. He's always been kind of off to the side. I'm not too familiar with what story arcs he's really driven where he has been the big bad, but he can be. I'm not saying he can't, because there are different versions of him as well. But Kang the Conqueror is pretty big because of the whole time aspect with him, and he has the time chair and all that chair that he flies around in, goes through different universes and timelines and everything. But I mean, another big thing is I haven't heard Galactus being thrown around. That'd be cool.
Yeah, that would be cool. Especially since, me personally, I don't want him to ruin Doctor Doom a third time. But, I'm always open for things. But, I for one think it'd be much better if they just recast him, because in the comics, Kang is, he does become an Avengers level threat. So, but Doctor Doom in his own right, they can definitely go that route as well. But it'll be interesting to see how they segue into it, because they're just not super deep into this act yet. But it was definitely leading up to that point, especially with the Loki and Ant-Man like putting him in the spotlight.
Well, yeah, like I said, they're gonna wrap up Loki on I think this coming week is the finale, but
Yeah.
they're making him like even bigger than before, and how they're gonna pivot from this is gonna be hard, where they have everything revolved around him, as well as this is a great article Variety put out. They brought everything, every aspect of what's going on in Marvel. We'll put the link in the description, so you guys, if you want to get more in depth with it too. We're just going off of various articles, actually. A few pieces have been written about all of this.
So long story short, they usually have like a yearly meeting that usually means like good things, because as you probably know, right, Marvel movies and the TV shows for the most part have been successes, not the most recent ones, and that's why this meeting specifically is being like brought to light, because now that everybody's like freaking out, I was like, we haven't made as significant success in the way we did in the past, and now everybody's like under fire for a lot of different reasons. If you want to go into like details of that, Shane.
Yeah, it's more or less. I feel like because now we have a new. They have the old CEO back. Bob Iger came back.
Ugh.
I mean, he did a good job of keeping everything in check with Marvel. He was more quality over quantity. But Dave Chapek, the CEO that basically got recalled and everything, he was so focused on just pumping out content. They were basically pumping out so much stuff, and they were so focused on all of these streaming platforms like Disney Plus and everything, that they were overworking their VFX department to the point of they were working 14-15 hour days, and now thank God they're unionized because they needed it. But
not to mention the fact that like the teams also had to go through a 2-year pandemic, and that also slowed down production across the entire board.
As well as, what was this, a 9-month strike or 6-month strike?
Yeah, obviously the writer's strike as well also got in the way.
Yeah, exactly. So in the article, the Variety article, it talks about right here, there were at least 10 scenes where the visual effects have been added at last minute and were out of focus. That was in Quantumania, and that was a recent Marvel movie too. And it goes on quoting, "It was insane. I'd never seen anything like that in my entire career. Everybody was talking about it. Even the kids of the executives were talking about it. So even children were noticing."
Yeah, the fact that the kids
shoddy,
were talking about
yeah,
like that, because usually kids don't pay attention to that specific kind of detail at all. But if it looks off for kids, then there's obviously something wrong, really wrong there.
Yeah, exactly. It's basically the year 2023 was the straw that broke the camel's back, says former Marvel Studios VFX assistant coordinator Anna George, who appeared before the Congressional Labor Caucus on October 19th to testify about the studio's unattainable deadlines and working condition. They were working 14-hour days, no overtime, and they wonder why all the special effects were out of focus, out of place. And it's just ridiculous that they even went about going through this. They were just rushing so much shit out. Like, She-Hulk looked absolutely terrible.
Absolutely.
And they added a lot of that. Like, look at this. When you see a lot of the special effects and everything, they've cleaned it all up, but it was all done after it was on streaming platforms.
Yeah. So the beauty of having it, or probably like a detriment as well, the beauty and detriment of having something on streaming is that like you're able to update this stuff. I think they did that in the past with like Game of Thrones. They found like a coffee cup in one of the...
And they cut that out.
Yeah, and they cut that out. So that's the cool thing about being on streaming. But when you have to fix entire scenes, that's when you know like this is absolutely rushed in every way.
Exactly. They're pumping out so much content. You have there's Secret Invasion, there's She-Hulk, there's Miss Marvel, Loki. You have just a ridiculous amount of just all their TV shows they're pumping out. They basically said, if there wasn't a movie in theater, there will be a show streaming at the same time, or streaming instead. And it's almost unsustainable because you're gonna have people burned out.
Pretty much because of all the stuff that's been happening now. Even the last movie that's supposed to come out this year, The Marvels, is like expected to do like a lot worse than its original box office goal, which definitely, it should be alarm raising at this point.
And they're bleeding money. It just came out that a single episode She-Hulk cost $25 million, and that was more than a budget of a final season episode of Game of Thrones. That's ridiculous. And that they couldn't, they had script rewrites, they had poor special effects, they had all these issues, and it just ballooned the budget like crazy. I don't see how there was no management and oversight when it came to all of this. They were just doing this all on the fly, and they were all okay with it. They were just trying to rush so much stuff out. And the new Marvels movie that's coming out in a few weeks now, it was swapped. It was originally supposed to be taking place of the release of Quantumania. But they flip-flopped those movies to see, all right, which one's done, first. Let's push that back. And that's how even Quantumania had shoddy VFX in it, too. But, again, just Kevin Feige, he's usually the one to get a final say on a lot of these movies, and he has his hand on it. He can kind of drive it in
the right direction.
In the right direction and make sure it turns out okay. But he's just one guy, and there's just so many scripts, so many TV shows he can only look at all at the same time. And it's same with, and it also just got reported that Blade is just no longer on the table.
It's gone through 6 directors. Six directors.
Yeah.
These directors, they're award-winning dudes. Like, the fact that they've gone through 6 is just, is it even worth trying to make that show anymore? Like, it sounds like a waste to me. And pretty much, as of late, maybe the past 2 years, the only things that I personally have looked forward to and were actual successes were like Moon Knight, Hawkeye, and that first
good.
season of Loki. Everything else, like, I don't even get excited when I see like it coming out in theaters anymore. The movies, now that pandemic is over, it's just like
you might as well wait for it to come out on streaming.
And I still haven't even watched like Ant-Man.
Exactly. So right now they have Mahershala Ali, which is great. He's a great actor. And they wanted to do it 2023. This year they wanted to release this. But now they're already redoing the script. And Michael Green, who wrote Logan, is going to start doing the script. And they want to make this for under $100 million. And it will be released in 2025. And that's a big cut for a Marvel movie. $100 million. Like, wow, like, that's not giving them anything to work with when they're usually 200 or more.
Yeah.
So that just shows that they're like, all right, we need to start dropping the budget. You need to start saving money, cutting corners somehow. It
really is sad to see. I remember, like, from going from the very first Iron Man to the most recent Avengers movie, in my eyes, I was like, nothing like this is going to happen again. And, like, it's unfortunate that right now it's panning out to be that way. I wouldn't have wanted it to turn out this way. I would have liked for them to keep the magic that made, like, the first act of these Marvel cinematic universe, shows and movies, like, special to me. But, like, they just can't keep it together ever since then. And it's just sad, honestly.
No, I completely understand where you're coming from. What sucks is, even Bob Iger acknowledged that their diluted focus and attention it's just not there. The quality of these TV shows, of all this Marvel content, it's losing its momentum. And people are getting burnt out on it. That's why they're even they did Shang-Chi, and they did the Eternals. They were trying to go for the lesser known characters, see how they did, but they aren't performing as well, and you're just trying to oversaturate it. You have 84 years of content to go off of, but when you try to give it to us all at once and try to pump out so much, there's only so much we can absorb in 1 year.
Yeah.
But when there's like 6 TV shows, 5 or 6 movies to go along with that, it gets to be a lot, and not all of it's going to be perfect. And you're going to have things you overlooked, especially when you're trying to hit all of these ridiculous timelines. It's just, It even says a studio source notes that regardless of the actor's legal issues, Marvel had already considered moving away from a Majors-led phase because of box office performance of Quantumania. So he was kind of already on the outs there. It gave people pause that Quantumania didn't exactly land. So there's that too, why they want to try to pivot away from him too. Quantumania didn't do very well.
This isn't the first time they've tried to, you know, put in lesser known like characters into like their movies. Like I remember when in Guardians of the Galaxy got initially thrown out, and I was like, there's nobody's gonna know who this like this team is. Nobody. Maybe they'll know Rocket Raccoon from like Marvel vs. Capcom, but like aside from that, like nobody knows who like Star-Lord is or any of these other characters. And to like my shock, everybody loved it, and like it ended up being one of the best like selling movies in that year, and it continues to do so. So I could see why they try to like, you know, bring in the lesser known Marvel characters, because they worked in the past, so why wouldn't it work now? But the quality just isn't there, and it was pretty much kind of there with Shang-Chi. They you know, they sat down and then really like decided like, hey, we're gonna like fix our screw, not our screw, because I actually did like Iron Man 3, but you know, Iron Man 3 was supposed to have an iconic like Iron Man villain, but obviously
the Mandarin, they kind of ruined Mandarin.
I still liked it, but I get why people were mad about it. But now that we got an actual authentic Mandarin, and I actually ended up liking it a lot. So it makes sense that, you know, they try to do this stuff again, but the quality just isn't there on so many different ways, whether it's production, visual effects, and of course the pandemic and the writer's strike, rightfully so, getting in the way, because everybody deserves to get paid fair for their hard work.
So again, it's been all doom and gloom talking about this, but we have to realize Kevin Feige is an absolute genius. Like, he started this entire universe. He made it cohesive. He made it where all these things are intertwined together. It's great. There's so much, like, you can see from the other movies. Like, oh, it links here. You know, he planned it all out perfectly.
I only had one major screw up, and that was the first Spider-Man. So the fact that after like more than 10 years of like movie planning, you only screwed up once, timeline wise, it's impressive. And if anybody can save it, it's him. But again, he is only one person, so it is going to be a team effort on all fronts, on Disney, Marvel, and all the executives that they bring into this big project, because it's not going to be easy to try and fix all this damage. But I have some faith, you know.
But that's the thing, you have Deadpool 3 coming out next year, and that's bringing back Logan. You know, Wolverine's coming, so that's going to be cool. People are really excited about that. And apparently they have a reboot of Fantastic Four slated for 2025. And Fox gave all the rights to Feige for X-Men now, because Fox is a part of the Disney family now.
Disney Empire.
Yeah, the Disney Empire. So now they're asking all the writers to start figuring out how to bring the X-Men. They started, you know, with Deadpool, and now they're going to probably try to integrate Deadpool, the rest of the X-Men, into the greater cinematic universe. So it's going to be interesting to see how they do that. But again, they have to do this right. It has to land correctly. You can't just rush it. You have to do it soon as well. You can't just let it sit there while you have all of these heroes you just got rights to, and you're not going to do anything with them. And it's just getting to the point where they have to take their time. They have to relax. I would have no problem going a year without a Marvel movie.
I 100% would agree with
if it means like, hey, we're gonna redo this, we're gonna do this right. You know, I mean, just some things that they're doing, you cannot rush.
The fact that they're even thinking about like bringing back the very first Avengers cast just to like fix their wrongs, it just feels like that. It feels like a cash grab.
There was that talk too, bringing back the original Avengers cast. Bringing back everybody, trying to figure out. I mean, they could do it.
I mean, it's not a surprise that, you know, comic book characters get revived here and there all the time. But something of this scope, especially, you know, the way they finished the Avengers, right? It just would cheapen the blow that those characters had on, like, not just like comic book and like movie universes, but like just in cinema altogether. You know, I'm pretty sure I can go and say that, like, yeah, this whole Avengers thing is never happening again. That kind of grand scope of things may not happen in my lifetime again. Maybe not the next lifetime either. But you know, I mean, here I am, still hoping, and I don't know about you, Shane, but
I have hope that they're going to land on their feet and they're going to have to take a break and figure this out, because I think the best way for us fans to receive this is to vote with our wallets. If we don't like what they're putting out, just don't absorb the content. Don't watch it.
Don't stream it.
And then they will eventually have to be, all right, we've been putting out too much. We need to sit back, do some quality control on this, make sure our people are taken care of, because they can't be being overworked 14 hours a day and ridiculous timelines not being met. And it just leads to them being unhappy, and you have crap special effects, you have a crap movie, crap scripts, all of that. I just hope that Bob Iger, now that he's back, he can actually just say, hey, you know what, we need to fix all of this stuff. We need to slow down, let Kevin Feige do his thing, give him free reign on how to bring this back into the fold and how to get these movies profitable again, because it's already on track for the new Marvel's movie. They're saying it's going to make about 80 million, and it costs about 200 something million. It's not going to. They were expecting 180 plus million opening weekend, and they're saying it's not gonna hit that. So we just have to wait and see. But again, I don't think Marvel's going. It's not going anywhere. That's the thing. This is probably a really big bump, and we may see the decline of quality in some of these movies that they're putting out, or TV shows, or they might just stop releasing as many, which I hope so.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't need to look forward to like 4 different things and then having them connected like so haphazardly. Because art of this scope, you know, it takes everybody, absolutely everybody, their hands to like make this work. And let's hope they can bring back what made these past like Marvel releases, at least on the TV and cinema side, success.
It's because, again, these movies make so much money, and if they aren't pulling in 500,000 plus, they are considered failures, which is ridiculous to think. But I know that if Kevin Feige can just take the reins again and start working on everything, getting everything turning, there's some good movies that I hope that they turn out great. Deadpool 3, you know, I hope they do a good Fantastic Four. If they keep majors or they recast them, whatever they want to do, I hope they do it right. If they go with a better villain like Doctor Doom, I would like to see a Galactus saga. That would be sweet. But we just have to wait and see. But as of right now,
things need to change.
Things need to change.
And
so
they need to change fast.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. But this is just our take. We would love to know what you all think about this. Let us know. Again, we started a Discord. Please feel free to jump into that. We'll have the link down in our description. We'll have a link to this article as well if you want to get more in depth to it. We just did a brief overview of it. And till next time, I'm Shane.
I'm Javi.
And we hope you enjoyed this. Thanks.
Later.